Coach Prime, once again, y'all, is in front of another major issue in college football. And like I said, I love this. Now, some have came out and said there needs to be fines, there needs to be things where we hold the players accountable, right? And we need to go ahead and hire them as employees. I'm with y'all when it comes down to that, but I love that Coach Prime is initiating fines for players, right? Being targeted, we'll talk about all that here in a second, but why it's so important? We paying you all this damn money, right? You got to show up. It's pretty simple. When you go to the next level, it's going to be the same thing. When you go to NFL, you're going to have to show up to meetings, right? You're going to have to show up to different team transactions, right? You're going to have to show up to practice on time. And I think it shows these players the right mentalities and obviously the right philosophy on what they need to do when they are obviously, conducting themselves as a professional. Because it's the same thing you're going to have to do. And it's pretty simple. And the fines to me are not that bad. So here are some of the fines. Late to practice, $500. No show, $2,500. Late to meeting or film, $400. No show film session/meeting, $2,000. Late to conditioning, $1,000. No show conditioning, $1,500. Late to treatment, $1,000. No show to treatment, $1,500. Violation of team rules, whatever that may span or be. Talking out of your butt, being disrespectful, $1,000 to $2,500. Public or social media misconduct. Think crazy tweets, think obviously calling out other teams, talking smack, talking about the coaches on social media, $2,000 to $5,000. And like I said, personally, I like it. I think it sets the record straight. I think it puts everything in balance, and this is how he wants to run his program, right? Only 3 wins last season. They want to take the next step. And like I said, as much money and dollars that they're putting out, hitting the transfer portal, getting in veteran guys, uphold the standard, right? Uphold and do what you're supposed to be doing. And I feel like far too often, kids are falling under the knife and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, but expect to have the check to cash, right? Expect to have the money that they're supposed to be paid, but you ain't doing half of what you're supposed to be doing. So to be honest with y'all, I'm all with it. I like it. I think he's setting a good precedent. Say what you want. If you want to take the next step and say these kids need to be under contracts, or these kids need to be under, certain things, that they need to be employees, I'm all with that. But I like that Coach Prime, once again, is getting in front of this. And like he said before, even last spring, I like that he was in front of the idea of having other teams play each other for the spring game. It brings more intrigue to the sport. And that's at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. So credit to Coach Prime for once again standing on business. Some people are going to like this. Some people are not. Me personally, I love it. I enjoy it. I think Coach Prime is setting the right precedent and the example. And hopefully more coaches follow. Because as much money as these coaches and programs are dealing out, these $5 million for quarterbacks, sometimes $7 to $8 million for quarterbacks, $800,000 plus to like $1.2 million for running backs, what they're paying these edge rushers, uphold the standard and do what you're supposed to be doing. Pretty simple. They're not asking you to do too much. They supplying you with everything you need. You're making hella money as a college student, and someone's like, oh, well, $250,000 is not a lot. That is a lot of money per month, okay? So these kids need to get out of their own way and uphold the standard and do what they're supposed to be doing. I'm all with it. Shout out to Coach Prime.